What does it take to become a Christian or to be a Christian? I don't know. Go to church? Which church? Some Christians get pretty huffy about that. Many would say that you need to repeat the sinner's prayer, we call it. You need to agree that Jesus died on the cross for your sins, and you need to ask him for forgiveness, and then accept him into your heart. Again, whatever that means. However, that will evidently get you a ticket to heaven when you're dead, which is kind of a big deal, I understand. So is that how you become a Christian? I don't know. Many today probably really have no interest in becoming a Christian at all, for that matter, after watching what Christian politicians especially are doing to that word and watching how they enact legislation to withhold food and medical care for the needy, people Jesus would call the least of these. I get it. I no longer call myself a Christian, for that matter, for those exact reasons. So, do we even need to become a Christian? Let me show you what matters to Jesus, okay? In his own words. This is in Matthew 25, where Jesus says to us, I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me into your home. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. And people, when they heard this, they objected. They said, wait a minute, wait. When did we see you sick, in need of medical care? When did we see you hungry and feed you? When did we see you in prison? When did we see you naked and clothe you? When did all that happen? We didn't even notice you. And Jesus will say this, I tell you the truth. Whatever you've done to the least of these, you've done to me. Jesus also warns that the opposite is true. What you have failed to do to the least of these, you've also failed to do to him. And if we are professing to be Christians, that can't possibly be good. Folks, if these people are not in our hearts, if the aliens, the strangers, the hungry, the sick, all the people Jesus lists here, the prisoners, if they are not in our hearts, then Jesus is not in our heart either, regardless of what prayer we've prayed. Ironically, I've also seen people doing these exact things, feeding the poor, welcoming the alien, caring for the ill, who will tell you they're not Christian. They'll tell you that they don't even believe in Jesus, whatever that means. We'll talk more about that later. Well, bad news, folks. Jesus doesn't seem to care if you knew it or not, that they were actually him. He only seems to care that you were actually doing it. I would bet, and it's just a bet, that Jesus actually preferred the fact that you didn't know it was him, because then you didn't have an ulterior motive. You weren't there to help Jesus. You were just there to feed somebody because they were hungry. You were just there to clothe somebody because they needed clothes. You were just there to welcome somebody because they were a stranger. You were just there to give medical care because they were sick. So, we have the argument today that we've all heard, that these people don't deserve health care, that they don't work, that they haven't earned our generosity. They are here illegally, perhaps. There's 100 reasons why we should not feed and clothe them, I suppose, and that's fine. Just remember, what you've not done to them, the least of these, you've not done to Jesus. And that doesn't seem to end well for us who profess to be Christian. Now, after hearing all that, and maybe after reading Matthew 25 for yourself, which is a challenging endeavor, you, like me, may also be riddled with guilt and fear for all the people we've been able to help, but yet we've walked past them in our lives, and we've failed to help. I get it. I have the same fears. These are not easy things to sort out. Fortunately, Matthew deals with all of that as well. So we will too in future Matthew Minutes. So to hear more, please subscribe.